FreeMMOStation.com.
Hey friends, what's going on? I'm Skyline Shore with FreeMMOStation, and today I'm going to give my first impressions on Maplestory. Has the game aged well? My opinion? No, it hasn't. The controls are pretty much awful. It does not take advantage of the PC controls in the least, like literally in the least. The controls are hands down atrocious. And yeah, there is a gamepad option for the game, which I used, and it doesn't utilize anything that the controller is good at using. Like, the controls are just so bad in this game. And actually interviewing people that do play Maplestory, this is something that they complain about all the time. The controls are just awkward. And not only that, but when you actually get into the game and the mechanics, there's not much that you can actually do. Sometimes entire classes are based around pressing one single button over and over and over and over. And not only that, but the gameplay itself is repetitive. And sure, yeah, there's a little bit of a skill cap with some of these classes, but pretty much most of the game, it's just grinding. You're just hitting mass waves of monsters. All you see is numbers flooding the screen, and that's it. It's not a particularly hard game. Maybe when it first came out, it was a little bit better, but this happens with all MMOs, that they slowly get casualized. They become easier and easier, trying to get a broader audience, and that's just not the way to go, honestly. Maybe for certain games, but a game that's already so grind-based, it just doesn't really work out. Now it is a 2D action game, and it's slightly platformer kind of stuff. It doesn't really have the platformer physics, so it doesn't quite work like a platformer, but I guess you could call it a platformer MMO, even though there's really no jumping puzzles of any kind. It just kind of looks like it. And based on looks, has the looks aged well? No, not at all. This game cannot even run at full definition. It's such an awkward ratio that you have. It's like 1360 by something. I don't know. It was so weird. It's such a hassle to record. That's why we're mostly just using the trailer footage here. Maplestory, it is constantly being updated, not as much as newer games, of course. But then again, what other games of this genre exist, right? Like, none. They're just copycats if it's truly 2D. There is L-Sword, which is a 2.5D. It's really like 3D, but you play in 2 dimensions. I think L-Sword is interesting. I would like to try that game and play that. But really, there's not too many games like Maplestory. Maplestory is the most popular. It's just, is there any real content for people that are wanting the content that modern MMOs give us? Like we see in WildStar, or even World of Warcraft's new update, Guild Wars 2, all these games. Even the free-to-play games like Terra, which is also very grindy, still has such a plethora of activities that they're constantly adding to the game. What about Maplestory? Well, Maplestory's content isn't really revolutionizing its game. Other free-to-play games are adding on stuff that actually changes the game. Maplestory is just adding on content that's really just grind-worthy content. You're just grinding through it for the sake of doing it. It's not true content. You're not truly doing anything new, and that's honestly how I feel. Now, this is my first impressions, so I can't speak too much about the game because, there's a whole lot of facets to an MMO that you can only experience when you play years and years of the game. I have not done PvP, for instance, but I can say that certain classes are awkward because, unlike World of Warcraft, for instance, where you can have different starting zones, in this game, it feels way more isolated. Even though the game is so popular, certain classes have quest-based starting zones, so you have to go through basically like the story mode. And even though it is a very single-player focused experience, it does not feel like that at all. You're just constantly grinding through it, which is normally what we'd expect in a multiplayer experience where you're grinding with multiple people, which then that can potentially be fun, as we've seen in Warframe. So why is this game, which has such a focus on stories and characters, why is it so grindy? Like, why? Not only that, but the game just doesn't look as good as it used to. Sure, it's cute, but honestly, the art style just does not hold up. Even though it is so cute, it still did not age very well. If it was flash animated, or if they changed the animations, if they upgraded the engine at all, but instead they're opting for a Maplestory 2, and they're changing the game entirely. I really wish, instead of making a Maplestory 2, is that they updated Maplestory 1, but they did not, so tragically, I do not think that this is a game that somebody can jump into now. I feel like the game is aged and falling off, and of course, I believe the developers see that, and that's why they're making a sequel. So, should you play Maplestory right now? No, I honestly cannot recommend it. I think you should probably look at the competitors, like L-Sword. That's probably worth a try. Maplestory is a cute game, and for those that did play it back when it was, in its prime, congratulations. I mean, it was probably a really cool game then. It just, nowadays there are better options to do. So, thanks for watching. I'm Skyline Shore with FreeMMOStation. Like and subscribe for more first impressions, top 10s, and awesome free-to-play MMO goodness. And I'll see you again later.